You know, I thought they were just warming up. You know, you did soak it up and you rock, you tap your feet, you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was beautiful from the Goshen Primary School. Another round of applause for our children. No, Mr. Slowly described our next speaker as passionate. And, you know, passionate is, I believe, no longer sufficient in defining our next speaker's enthusiasm for housing developments across the island. And he's intent on his goal of building more houses for Jamaicans in the shortest possible time, a vision that the NHD has been working assiduously to achieve, captured in a simple and powerful charge from our Prime Minister to build more houses. Was it quickly or faster? I'll allow him to clarify when he gets to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome at this time Prime Minister and Portfolio Minister with responsibility for the NHD, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. I notice we are almost coordinated. Almost. But I dare say that mines look better. But what it says is that we have a good sense of fashion. It's a July month. We are both July people. It is so good to be in my second parish of St. Elizabeth. I have roots not too far from here, and I spent many summers in this community, so this is a place that's near and dear to me. Let me thank Pastor Kimoy Allen for the prayers. And you know, today is National Children's Day. And so let me thank the students who performed from the Goshen Primary School Culture Club. Thank you very much. And the teachers who are here, the proud teachers, I could see them beaming with pride as the children sang. And I too, I recorded it because I may make a little message to say, here is what the children are saying. We must rely on the mercy and the goodness of God. So thank you. Thank you so much for that message. And I am a fan of mental music. And I must make a commendation for the NHD that whenever we put on these ceremonies to mark the handing over or opening of our housing estates, that they have sought to use local talent, but more than that, they have sought to use our local talent that preserve our culture and heritage. And I've gone to so many of these events where the entertainment is either from one of the cultural dance groups or a mentor band, and it is just always so relaxing. There is something about our music, our heritage, that when it is performed, as it was today, it gives a sense of calm. It takes us back to a period of time when we were gentler with each other. We were more emotionally sensitive about the content of the music. It was just a better time. And so I want to commend the NHD and to commend the group for the performance. Thank you so much. Let me officially acknowledge your Member of Parliament, Mr. Delroy Slowly, who is doing an amazing job as your representative. He holds no punches in bringing the issues of concern of his constituents to the fore. And the issue you raised regarding delinquencies, I have had a word with the chairman, who is having a word with the managing director, so it is a matter that will be addressed at the board level of the NHD. But Dwayne was quick off the draw to point out that the NHD is a customer-centric institution. Its entire organizational structure and support is around satisfying the needs of the customers. That's what it is, and I'm very satisfied that the organization is fulfilling that mandate. So if you have a challenge, just reach out to your local representative, the local office, and I'm certain that they will try to find a way to assist. So thank you so much for attending this event. As I said, I am delighted to be with you this morning in participating in the handing over ceremony for the Friendships Oak Phase 1 development in the parish of St. Elizabeth. And we affectionately call St. Elizabeth as parishioners St. Bess. St. Elizabeth is renowned as the breadbasket of Jamaica, producing the vast quantity of ground provisions, root crops, fruits, vegetables, sugar, rum, coffee, and the finest ginger in the world. It is always a pleasure for me to participate in these activities, as it brings immense joy for me to see the happy faces of Jamaicans who are about to receive their keys to their home or titles to their land. You cannot find a happier Jamaican than at that moment of realization that I am a proud homeowner or I'm going to own a piece of land. Indeed, this is a major part of wealth creation for families, but more so, it is the creation of intergenerational wealth, meaning that when the family gets this property, it is a legacy to be passed on for generations to come. Indeed, it can break the cycle of poverty. And that is why every Jamaican wants to own a piece of the rock, wants to own a house or a piece of land, because it is seen as the first step in ending intergenerational poverty and creating intergenerational wealth. And the NHT is playing a very critical role in that. But let me give you some details of this development. The NHT is doing this development on 36.8 hectares of land, and it comprises 256 housing solutions. Phase 1 will comprise 150 one-bedroom units, 106 residential service lots, and 8 commercial lots. The 106 residential lots are now ready, and we are handing over a representative number of these lots this morning. Let me give you some information on the persons who are the selectees, those who will benefit. Of the 106 service lots, 15 have been reserved for public sector workers and persons with disabilities, and therefore 91 contributors outside of that pool was selected. So we have 15 reserved for persons with disabilities and public sector workers, so we took those off and distributed those separately, and then 91 contributors were selected from the beneficiary selection process. Of the 91 contributors selected, 64% were female. So this is going to be a scheme where the women dominate, as is largely the case in the society. In addition, the highest number of selectees, 53%, earn between $42,000 and $100,000 weekly. So this is middle income, lower middle income income brackets. And it's important, I'm going to come back to this point. 36% of selectees, therefore, would have a mortgage with interest rate of between 0 and 2%. Yes. It's a very low interest rate, concessionary interest rate. Of the 67% of note, 67% of the selectees are young adults between the ages of 25 and 40. And when I see this, I start to get worried I'm out of that age range. But yes, again, another important point to note, because a criticism of the government's housing policy is that young people are not getting a benefit significantly. So it's important to note this point, that 67% of the persons selected here are between the ages of 25 and 40. Further, 33% of the selectees work in accounting, administration, and clerical. The NHD's current housing program includes 7 developments with 4,108 housing solutions in St. Elizabeth over the next few years. And for the record, let me read it out, because there is so much misinformation about what the government is doing or not doing, that the average person who spends an hour or so on social media, or is listening to the radio while driving, or may get a chance to scan the headlines, the information that you receive is largely incomplete, some of it totally inaccurate, and a large section of the information, certainly in terms of where it comes from, is designed to mislead and create a false narrative. There's never been a time in our history where misinformation, false narratives, and outright lies could be manufactured and disseminated at such an intense scale as today. And therefore, the average person is consuming information that is not necessarily accurate. And if you are going to make decisions rationally, you have to make decisions on information. And if the information you are receiving is inaccurate, it will lead to irrational and inaccurate decision making, which could be a challenge for our democracy if people are making choices on false information. So at every opportunity I get, I go into details. Now, the people who are good at public relations tell me that nobody wants to listen to a long speech. Nobody wants to really hear the facts. People want to hear what is exciting, what is sexy, what is attractive, what is funny. But then therein lies the great challenge. As citizens, as persons who will participate in the democracy of our country, we cannot reduce these serious matters to fun memes and to reduce serious and critical conversations to, less serious attempts at understanding the issues that we face. So at every opportunity I get, I try to put the information squarely in front of you. So let's talk about housing in St. Elizabeth and what are the plans and what you can expect to happen. So in St. Elizabeth, what we have on the books 4,000, as I've said, 4,108 housing solutions. These are not just plans. These are in varying stages of execution. So we have the Malvern housing development. That will be an NHD scheme. It will have 30 solutions. Those solutions are service lots, like what we're giving here, and that is set to be completed in 2025, next year. We are at Friendship Oaks Phase 1. We're handing out 100 and odd units here, but we have 150 one-bedroom units that will be completed in 2027, in a few years' time. Again, at Friendships Oak Phase 2, under the developers program, we have 543 solutions. These are one-bedroom and two-bedroom units and service lots, and those will be completed in 2027. In the Luana housing development, again, under the developers program, we have 360 housing solutions made up of one-bedroom and two-bedroom housing solutions along with service lots, and that is slated for completion in 2028. We have Gilnock 1, again under our developers program, 2,425 housing solutions comprised of one-bedroom and two-bedroom housing solutions and service lots. That is slated for 2029. We have Holland Estate. That will be an NHD housing scheme, 540 housing solutions, and these will be detached studios, one-bedroom and two-bedroom units. That is slated for 2030. We have Kensington in St. Elizabeth under our developers program. That will have 60 units, and that will be all one-bedroom units. That is slated for completion in 2026, and that gives you the total of 4,108. You will notice that our completion date goes up to 2030, which might seem a long time away, and you may be wondering why such a long time. You know, when the government goes to build a house, it doesn't just get up one morning and send the backhoe and get the contractor. We have to go through some processes which are designed to ensure that the final product that you as the beneficiary get is sustainable from an environmental perspective, sustainable from a construction perspective, that when it is built you have no problems, that it is sustainable from an economic perspective, that you can afford it, and that it fulfilled all the rules and obligations for procurement, for public sector investment, and administratively, so that no one can say that there was any corruption or wastage involved in the construction of the units. And so there is a whole process that we go through to build these houses. So when the government says we have 4,108 units, they're not going to all materialize at once. They are at various stages. So they have to be planned. So there are some of them that are in the planning phase, meaning the architectural design, the engineering design. Some of them are in the negotiating phase. Having planned it now, we have to negotiate the financing. Some of them are in the procurement phase. After we have completed the financing and we have gone through all the other processes in government, then we have to find out who is going to build it. And then we have to go through the permitting phase now. We have to get the parish council, NEPA, all the other permitting and regulatory agencies to give approvals. And then finally, we start construction. And construction can take you as little as a year to as long as 2 or 3 years. And that is the process. So what you as citizens, residents, potential homeowners need to pay attention to is that train line of housing that is coming. So you can start to plan. Well, I know houses are coming in 2030, 2026, 2027. Let me see how I can put my business in order. How do I get pre-qualified and start to target those houses that are coming? And that is the factual information that I'm presenting to you as citizens so that you can make rational decisions. So when you hear the false narrative, the fake news, the incomplete story, I am giving you now what the actual situation is for you to be truly informed citizens. I also want to take some time, while I have your attention, to explain to you the NHD's overall housing plan. Because again, there's so much false information, incomplete information, false narratives out there. In this financial year, the NHD is projecting the commencement of construction of 15,000 housing solutions island-wide, with more than 96% of those housing solutions targeted to middle-income to low-income contributors. Now, let me spend a little time on that. These housing solutions, this 15,000, we will have 4,309 two-bedroom units, 7,600 one-bedroom units, and 3,100 service lots, like what we are delivering here. Now, what do we mean when we say targeted to low-income or middle-income earners? There is a sense sometimes when we use these terms that they are used as a pejorative, as demeaning in terms of people's earnings or station in life. That's not the intention. It is a ranking of where your income bracket falls relative to other income brackets. But we want to move away from that, to say somebody is a low-income earner or a middle-income earner. Because regardless of what your income is, you want to own a house. And so the NHD must find a way to make that achievable. So what we have said to the NHD is that internally we may use these categories to describe income levels, because based upon categories we assign benefits. So if you are a low-income earner, you might get a different mortgage rate from somebody who is a middle-income earner. Or we may target the grants more towards the low-income earner for purposes of equity. But still, you know, some people may view that terminology in a negative way. So the terminology that we will use to describe the focus of the NHD, which is now, by policy, all the houses, in fact, I say all, but the appropriate thing would be to say the majority of the houses that the NHD is going to build going forward, policy set in the last 2 years, will be focused on lower middle income to low income to no income housing. In other words, the NHD is focused on achievable housing. That is the terminology that we are using. Meaning, you are all seeking to achieve this dream of housing. Most of the country, the income level would fall in the category of low income. And therefore, the NHD is to support low income earners and lower middle income earners to achieve their dream of owning a home. So the NHD is in the business of financing, constructing achievable housing solutions. And this housing development that we are handing over today is in keeping with that policy direction. So most of this 15,000 housing solution that will start this year and be delivered over the next 3 to 4 years will be achievable housing. Low income, lower middle income, and for persons who have no income at all. That's the focus now of the NHD. Now, let me tell you of some of the initiatives of the NHT, some of our innovative initiatives to help people to achieve their housing goals. So your government has been working tirelessly to formulate policies that increase access and affordability of housing for NHT contributors. And let me share a few of them with you. The expansion of the 10+ home improvement loan. Effective July the 1st of this year, the NHT will revise its home improvement loan policy to allow all first-time mortgagors to access home improvement loans up to $3.5 million after 10 years. So before, non-public sector workers would have to wait 15 years before they could access this home improvement loan. Now, we are changing that. So you only have to wait 10 years to get your home improvement loan after you have gotten your initial first allocation from the NHT. And that is a benefit to many persons, because usually after you have purchased your home, at 10 years you need some renovations. Your family circumstances may change. You might have had a child, or your mother would have to move in with you. So after 10 years is a reasonable time for persons to start to want to do additions or renovations to their homes. And the NHT has looked at that, and we have adjusted the policy in favor of the beneficiary. One program that I like, again, is the Smart Energy Home Improvement Loan. So, as of July 1, 2024, NHT contributors will be able to access a new loan product called the Smart Energy Home Improvement Loan to equip their homes with a variety of renewable energy technologies. These include solar panels and batteries, solar water heaters, solar insulation, other renewable energy technologies such as windmills and hydropower and biomass, and importantly for St. Elizabeth, rainwater harvesting and storage, which would include tanks and pumps. The asset, that is the house that is going to be used to secure the loan, must have a useful life that meets and exceeds the loan term. So if you come to borrow, make sure that when they come to inspect the house and they look at it, they will say, this house will stand up for the next 20 years. And it is not in a decrepit state. Contributors may access up to $1.5 million each. With 2 contributors, that means you would be able to get $3 million for this Smart Energy Home Improvement Loan. The payback is at 5% for 10 years. You're not going to get a loan like that anywhere right now. And that's a good loan, and I encourage persons who want to reduce their energy consumption, or persons who live in areas where the utilities are unreliable, to access this loan and improve your utility, particularly your water and electricity. When I spent summers here with my dad, they had a big tank, a stone and cement tank that was underground, connected to the roof, and that supplied most, if not all, of our water needs throughout. And I tell you something, it's the best tasting water I've had. It's cool and refreshing. So I encourage everyone, particularly in areas like St. Elizabeth, to look at this loan and put in your water, your home-based water supply system. There is a solar panel home grant. And in this financial year, the NHD will expand its home grants to include the installation of solar panel systems on the houses of public sector pensioners up to a maximum of $1.5 billion each. The program will target 30 pensioners per parish, each for the next 3 years, and the beneficiaries will be selected at random, stratified by parish, and must meet the following criteria. At the point of retirement, the pensioner was earning less than $30,000 weekly, must be a homeowner, and this includes owners of non-NHD constructed houses, must be at the retirement age, 60 and over, and must not already have a solar system in place. So this grant is specific to public sector pensioners. And the reason for this is that I'm certain that the NHD is getting quite a number of complaints and concerns expressed to it that our pensioners are having it very difficult in meeting their utility bills. And sometimes it is a trade-off between the utility bill and the mortgage. And therefore, the NHD, again, in responding to these initiatives that have these concerns that have raised, have sought to craft these kinds of programs. Now, we have a program called the Revised First Step Program. The NHD will develop one-bedroom apartment complexes within or near urban centers as starter homes. These apartments will be made available to contributors via sale agreements with an optional buyback clause. Now, this, in my mind, is probably the most impactful of the innovative solutions that the NHD is putting forward. The buyback clause will give the mortgagors the option to sell the property back to the NHD after a determined period. The trust may then repurchase the unit for resale to its contributors. Mortgagors who sell their unit to the NHD under this arrangement will be allowed to access a new benefit from the NHD in full towards the acquisition of a new home. Now think of it. You've just left school. You have gotten a job, decent paying job. And the option before you is to rent. You may be in an area where the rent is exorbitantly high. Or you may be in an area where there is just no suitable space to rent. You may just be starting out with your family. And what you really need might be a studio solution or a one-bedroom solution. The NHD proposes to build these starter homes. And then, as your circumstances change, you, in 10 years or 5 years or 7 years, you get a promotion. You move to a higher income bracket. The family of 2 now becomes a family of 3 or 4. You need more bedrooms. You could sell back this starter unit to the NHD at an agreed price and then still access your homeowner benefit to put towards the purchase of your achievable home. So you continue to get your homeowner benefit, plus you have a guaranteed sale for the unit that you have, so you can step up in a life to a new unit with this policy. It is an attractive policy for developers as well. So it is now, we have now created a new market category for developers to direct resources to, because the NHD will purchase these units straight off the top in order to ensure that it has a pool of these starter units. Now, as starter units are sold back into the pool and young people are coming up wanting to start their homes, they are then resold. So in effect, what we have done is to create an ecosystem of starter units that will serve our young people who are just coming up and facing the option of rent or buy. It is an excellent, innovative policy, and it will work well to support certain industries like the BPO industry, where they need, a mass of young people in close proximity to where their offices are. So it's an excellent idea. In addition to that, we have taken a policy decision to reserve 10% of all NHD benefits, meaning these kinds of developments that we're doing for young people. So, as you would have seen here, we had far exceeded that 10% threshold. But in all the developments that we're doing, a minimum of 10% must be for young people. And in this case, when we say young, we're not starting at 25, we are starting at 18 to qualify. So it would be 18 to 35-year-olds. So I definitely am out of that category. So, ladies and gentlemen, your government is working tirelessly to ensure that we have housing for our citizens, regardless of all the other false narratives that you're hearing. These are the facts. This is what we're doing. And what we are doing here has never been done before. It is, in my mind, transformational for Jamaica. I wanted to take a little time to address some issues in the economy. But I will defer this until I see you again at some other time in the near future when we discuss more about housing. So as I close my presentation to you today, the NHD is doing an amazing job in trying to leverage the contributors' contributions to provide achievable housing for Jamaicans. Housing for people with no income, people with low income, and people with lower middle income earnings. The NHT is the key to your own home, and the government is making sure that many keys are delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Holness. Thanks for that reminder summary of the new policy initiatives that come into effect July 1. And I've come to appreciate the word context. So thank you for contextualizing those policy initiatives too, that we're not just doing them at random, but they're within a broader framework of a new term we've been given today, achievable housing. Thank you again for your presentation and for your remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our beneficiaries' time now. I mean, it's their day, it's been their time, but it's the time where they now receive letters of possession to their lots here at Friendship Oaks. You will recall it's a total of over 100 service lots, some of them being commercial lots, and a total of 50 beneficiaries of that number will receive letters of possession to their lots today. And to hand over the first batch, I would like to invite back to the stage Prime Minister Holness to lead the handover. And we have our branch support team on standby to assist. And they've been assisting from day one, from intake, well, from application to intake, the whole process. And we will have the beneficiaries who they have appointed give their vote of thanks to the team a little bit later. So, beneficiaries, I ask that you come up this side of the front when I call your name, and you exit behind me on the right. And we begin the handover. Photographers, you good? All right. And we begin the handover with Karine Adlam Morris. Yes, I know you probably want her a lot, but you can clap her, encourage her. Be happy for her too. Shoshana Atkinson. Our next beneficiary is Lyndon Bailey, but collecting on his behalf this morning is Monique Brissett. Amal Barrett. Hope I get this correct. Rajay Bivas. Thank you. Rajay Bivas. Some really fancy names in Goshen, St. Elizabeth. China Broderick. Let's keep the applause going for Rohan Brown. Oh. Jadon Burnett. Sorry for keeping you waiting there, Jadon. Let's also welcome Shanice Campbell. And Shanice says she's going to start bill right now. You to Davia Carter. Davia nods her head. Let's welcome our next beneficiary, Davia Carter. Raul Chambers, he is unavoidably absent, but his mom is collecting today on his behalf. Big up yourself to mommy. Ivorine Cole. Sheikah Cowell. Sedane Daly. Hope I get this one right. Juan Diaz. So also welcome Dawn Farquharson, the lady with a beautiful, beautiful smile. Happy can done. Congratulations, Dawn. Novelet Forrest. Our next beneficiary is Keneal Francis, but collecting on his behalf today is Tashika Francis. Mr. Osive Gentles, you're next to collect. And our final beneficiary, Prime Minister, handing over to Mr. Floyd Morgan. Mr. Morgan. Give him little time. We're not give it away. Take your time. Take your time. We're not change your mind. The lot is yours, Mr. Morgan. Congratulations again. And a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our first set of beneficiaries. And thank you very much, Prime Minister Holness. And let's now invite Mr. Slowly, Member of Parliament, for this constituency to assist with the next set of handovers to our beneficiaries here at Friendship Oaks. And we begin this batch with a lady who's been patiently waiting, Vanessa Gilzine. Rochelle Henry, you're next for a lot at Friendship Oaks. Let's welcome as well Dane James. Simone Carr. Clement Curlew. Jarian Lewis. I'm going to take my time with this one. Patricia Lynch. I got it right. Thank you. Congratulations, Patricia. She gave me the look and she gave me the smile, and I'm going to do my best to call our next beneficiary. She is Rakisha Malab. Malabre. I tried. I tell you, the names in Friendship Oaks, they are interesting in and of themselves. Milbert Miller. I got it right, sir? Kerry Gay Mitchell. Kadisha Page. Kimberly Rayner. And we round off this batch of beneficiaries with Romel Richards Griffiths. Clearly a crowd favorite. Thank you very much, Mr. Slowly, and give our next, or that batch of beneficiaries a round of applause as well, as we welcome NHT's chairman, Mr. Linville Dixon, to do the next set of presentations to beneficiaries here at Friendship Oaks. And we begin this batch with Mr. Adrian Samuels. Tariq Samuels. And they come in three, so I have another Samuels for you. Janice Samuels Lynch. Let's also make welcome Cherise Senior. Renika Smith. Ronica. so sorry for keeping you waiting. Please make welcome Sharnette Shaw. Whichever kind person saw and came to my rescue. Thank you, Kamisha. Let's make welcome as well Tamara Stewart. Patricia Taylor. Patricia? Them left out the I out of your name, miss. I'm so sorry. Patricia Taylor. Shane Thetford. And we round off this batch of beneficiaries with Amoy Hewlett. Amoy not here? All right. Thank you, Chairman Freeman. And another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for that batch of beneficiaries as we welcome our Managing Director, Mr. Martin Miller, to hand over the final set of letters of possession to beneficiaries here at Friendship Oaks. And we begin this batch with Mr. Siobhan Watson. Nicole Wheatley. Julian Whiteley Bromfield. Janika Williams. Let's also welcome Stephen Williams. Michelle Wilson Nugent. And number 50, our final beneficiary this afternoon, morning still, the lady in red, Ashley Wright. Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Thank you to the branch support team. And ladies and gentlemen, a final big round of applause for all our beneficiaries here at Friendship Oaks. And keep that applause going as we welcome to say thank you on behalf of the new lot owners here. Let's invite Mr. Osiu Gentles to move the vote of thanks.
The Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Member of Parliament for North Eastern St. Elizabeth, Mr. Delroy Slowly, other political representatives, project stakeholders, mortgage partners, members of the business community, fellow beneficiaries, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning. It is with a sense of gratitude, pride, and excitement that I stand here today to move this vote of thanks. I speak on behalf of the illustrious men and women who have now graduated from the class of non-homeowners to join the elite ranks of Jamaicans who own a little piece of rock, as the Honorable Prime Minister stated. We are truly thankful to the wonderful and dedicated staff of the National Housing Trust, irrespective of whichever office you operate from. The NHT, since its establishment in 1976, has committed itself to certain standards of performance with the aim of delivering the ultimate goal of customer satisfaction. This was evidenced as we walked into the offices and were pleasantly met and catered to in the most professional way. Thank you, especially to the loan processing officers who, through their patience, dedication, and attention to detail, ensured that we dotted every I and crossed every T. Through their diligence, we were able to boldly and confidently walk across this stage, beaming with pride as we collect today our land titles. We praise Almighty God for his guiding hand from the inception of this wonderful development, the Friendship Oaks Phase 1, to the reality of what is to become a premier housing development. We salute the Event and Planning Committee for putting together this auspicious occasion. This is testament to a job well done. Thank you to the Master of Ceremonies who skillfully guided today's proceedings. Your masterful expertise kept this ship sailing in the right direction and in good time. Thank you to our keynote speaker, the Prime Minister and Portfolio Minister. You have spoken with such insight and vision. Your passion for housing is shown with every word delivered. So again, we say thank you. Thank you to the New Revelation Mentor Band for their musical selections. Indeed, it is a part of art that goes in the ears, straight to the heart. Thanks also to the Goshen Primary School Culture Club and Pastor Kimoy Allen for their participation in today's program. To all our political representatives who, despite your demanding schedules, made the time to be with us today, thank you. Your show of support for what has taken place already, is taking place now, and will take place in the future, is valued and appreciated. Thank you to the decorating team for the part that you played in ensuring that the ambience we have experienced today is benefiting of the caliber of the ceremony that was conducted. Thank you to all our specially invited guests, family members, and well-wishers who, because of your presence today, added to the flavor of the occasion. Now, if the ceremony was planned, all the guests were invited, and the preparations were made, but those for whom the event was planned did not show up, all efforts would be in vain. So to all my fellow beneficiaries, congratulations, and thank you for showing up. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Gentles. Well said and well done. Thanks again. And just a few more activities and a few instructions, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap our function up. Especially to our media, firstly, I want you to invite you and to advise you that immediately following this handing over ceremony, there will be a pressure testing on pressure testing of the water facility in Pepper community, which is just next door. Our Prime Minister will be participating in that occasion, and it's quite interesting that you're both getting land and they go together, right? Only makes sense. So media, you're invited for coverage immediately following this event. Now, firstly, we will have a ribbon cutting, and the ribbon cutting will take place to my right. And participating in that will be our Prime Minister, our Chairman, Mr. Slowly, Mr. Miller, and they will be joined by one of our beneficiaries, Miss Kadisha Page. Immediately following the ribbon cutting, we will have a tree planting exercise, something the NHT has committed to, that in all our development
Hey, man, him step out. Hey, tell him to step out. Richie! 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 Tell him to step out. Oh, that's why you see the sound. You want to bring them forward, step by step.
beneficiaries, before they cut the ribbon, just ask you to line up behind them, please. Line up behind the ribbon cutting party beneficiaries.
Yeah, you good?
Thank you very much.